Hello and welcome. I'm going to show you how to turn a 3D model into an SHP for use in Tiberian Sun. To begin with, you need three tools. The first is Donut Arnold's Blender template, which will give you your camera, angles, and your lighting. Second, Image Shaper by LKO. You're going to use this to compile your SHP. And XCC Mix Editor, which is used to put the SHP into a mix file. Once you've gotten those, which are linked in the description, head back over to Blender. First, you need to go into the template and choose your scene. So what scene you're using determines the camera angles and the lighting. For this example, I'm going to use Tiberian Sun because that's what my unit is for. Once done with that, head on over to the Shading tab. You don't need anything fancy because Tiberian Sun is very low resolution. I just use a noise texture connected to a color ramp connected to a principled BSDF shader. This gives your texture a nice modeled look, which I find adds a lot of character in-game, but isn't too much work to make. Once you finish with that, head on over to the scripting area. Here, you're going to choose which renderer you use. We've got a couple to choose from. See, Cycles Render Buildup and Cycles Render Shadow are the ones that you're going to need. To begin with, hit Cycles Render Buildup and press Run Script. Go back to the Animations tab. Here, you're going to need to figure out which frames you're going to render. In this particular case, I'm going to be rendering number 2 to 201. Put the start here, 2, and the end here, 201. So this is going to be 25 frames of walking and 8 facings for it, as you can see here. Alright, once you've chosen your frames, hit Ctrl F12 to begin rendering. The default output for this is going to be CTMP. As you can see, they've begun rendering. Once you've finished rendering your unit, you're going to need to rename them, or change the folder they're in. The reason you need to do that is because when you render the shadow, it's going to have the same name as the frames that you just rendered. So if you don't rename them, it'll overwrite them. So once you've done renaming them, go back to the scripting tab. Go here, go to Cycles Render Shadow, hit Run Script. Now Ctrl F12 again. This will take a little bit longer, but once you've finished, you're going to have a nice folder full of shadow frames and animation frames. In this particular case, I also have a turret because this is a turreted unit. Now you're going to want to open Image Shaper. First, you're going to need to load a palette. Right-click, Load Palette. You can choose from the default ones here, or if you have a custom palette, you're going to need to find that in whatever directory it is, and then hit Open. Once you've loaded your palette, select all of your frames. Make sure you drag from the first one, and drag it and drop it into Image Shaper. Now hit Start. That will compile your SHP. Head over to XCC Mix Editor. Here you're going to need to open your mix file first. So choose whichever mix file you want, and then hit Insert. Click on your SHP, open, then save it and compact it. As you can see, we now have a fully functional walking Titan animation. Thank you for watching, and I wish you luck making your SHP.